Hello everyone and welcome back to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. And today I'm going to be trying another one of these last stand battles. I think I've done a couple of these before. Well, I can't remember the last one. Normally I'm having one side attack and one side defending, similarly even numbers, or the attackers have slightly more, but this time it's a full-on just last stand situation. I have used this map before, the simulation maps. They're not the best, but the lack of fitting normal maps that have a layout like this, aka a central point or a castle to defend or something like that, the lack of them being here means that, well, the simulation maps have to do, and so long as the units don't fall off the edge, it should be good enough, but that's always how it goes. So what I've got here is I've got a Carthaginian last stand around the central top, the central fortification here, against the attacking Roman army. So, yeah, Carthaginians haven't used these guys all too much, so I wanted to just throw them out here, see how they do. So what we've got here is, well, we've got some Carthaginian spear throwers. These guys, they're just wearing light tunics. They've got a small circular shield and they've got their throwing spears. We've got 3 of them on either side of the camp entrance here. So we've got 6 on each gatehouse, for want of a better word. And then we've got 4 different units of troops defending. So obviously Carthage uses a lot of mercenaries. They had a lot of mercenary armies, thanks to the trade empire that Carthage had. So what I've got here is I've got a bunch of mercenaries. We have got 5 hoplite mercenaries at the front here, followed up by 5 Numidian spearmen, my other Numidian spearman model that I made, unit that I made rather, by accident. But yeah, so we got them. And then we've got some Illyrian pikemen, I think these guys are. I haven't used them before. Yeah, mercenary Illyrian pikemen. So yeah, I haven't used Illyrian pikemen before. There's only 3 of them, but they have got the super long pikes, which I'm not sure how the Romans are going to deal with. If I'm perfectly honest, pikes are pretty difficult to deal with for melee troops. Providing that obviously the ranged units of the Romans can't take them out, or the other Roman units can smash through and outflank them, which is the idea. So moving this way, moving counterclockwise, we are moving on to my other Numidian spearmen units, which are these guys here. They've got their bronze armour, and yeah, just a different shield, but yeah, they are Numidian spearmen, and then we've got other Numidian spearmen behind them. Obviously all these guys have got a standard bearer to stop them, well, hopefully stop them from going too far out from the defensive positions. And then over here we've got some mercenary hoplites again, followed up by some Numidian... are they Numidian? I don't... no, they're not Numidian. Libyan infantry. There you go. Libyan infantry, Libyan swordsmen are backing them up with their own small circular shields and their swords and just their light bronze torso plate covering. So yeah, we got them, and then we've got Carthage's main force of units here, which is Carthaginian spearmen and some sacred band, but they are missing a sacred band there. Let me put down a new one. There we go. So yeah, the Carthaginian regular troops are here. Obviously the Sacred Band are the elite units of the Carthaginians. They've got the long sarissas. They're the only ones out of all of these units that have got sarissas. All the rest of them have just got regular short infantry spears. Just because they're mercenaries, they won't have as good equipment as regular units, and they won't have as good stats. But that's the price you pay for the cheaper cost of the mercenaries. But yeah, so we've got some... yeah, these guys are just regular guys though, and this guy is very small. But yeah, this is all that remains of the regular Carthaginian military force here, and they are going to be going up against the toughest Romans. As for the centre, the main central point here is a war elephant. So he's got a mercenary archer on him, but yeah, we just got a war elephant here, along with another standard bearer, just to keep the elephant in place. Going up against them for the Romans, going against the main Carthaginian force, I suppose you could say, the regular Carthaginian troops. We have got some Praetorians leading the charge. So we've got a Praetorian Centurion, and we've got another, 5, 10, 14 Praetorians as well here. Plus we've behind them got some mercenary Samnite Spearmen, along with some auxiliary archers. So we've got a real Roman and Italic force here, and then we've got the legate and 5 more Praetorians. This will be more than enough to take on the spear band, the sacred spears, sacred band rather. Yeah, the Praetorians alone should be able to just breeze through these guys, providing not too many of them actually fall off the edge. But you know how that goes, and obviously we have then got to discount a few Praetorians due to the fact that the long sarissas of the Sacred Band will give them an edge over the Praetorians. We've seen it before. The sarissas, no matter how high health the unit is, the sarissas just give them the range. That's what makes the phalanx so effective. But even so, that's at least 20 Praetorians for just 8 spear Sacred Band. So the Praetorians should technically have the edge. On this flank, though, going up against the Illyrian pikemen, we have got some gladiators. We've got some spear gladiators and some sword gladiators. The last time I used these gladiators was probably in the Spartacus match that I made. And then behind them we have got some just some regular Roman legionaries. We've got a centurion, and we've got a 7 by 2 deep of legionaries. So slightly smaller than the usual unit that I compose, but they are still 7 wide and 2 deep. And then behind them we've got some velites as well. As some ranged units to back them up. I believe each side of the Romans have got some, they've got some ranged units. Going up against this flank, which is just Numidian spearmen, basically. We've got spears versus spears, Numidian spearmen versus Triarii. So we've got obviously the Centurion, and then we've got a 7 by 3 deep of Triarii, and some velites behind them. This is my usual Roman unit formation that I use, and this is the only side here which doesn't have mercenaries, because I didn't want to overwhelm the Romans with mercenaries. I wanted the Romans to actually use mostly Roman units, with not all too many mercenaries. So yeah, we've got just Triarii here, and then going up against the final guys, which is the Libyan swordsmen, Libyan infantry, we have got some mercenary hoplites, with some mercenary Cretan archers behind them, and then we've got some more legionaries. This is a 5 by 3 deep of legionaries with the Centurion rather, and some velites behind. So that's what we've got going on here. The Carthaginians are vastly outnumbered. They do hold the high ground though, and they do have the defensive formation. However, they don't all want to stay in the defensive formation thanks to the tabs AI. The banners can only do so much. These guys tend to actually want to outpace the banners. Unfortunately, I've tried fixing it, but they just don't want to stay. No matter which standard bearer I use, they just don't want to stay. So yeah, as we can see, 150 Roman units to just 86 Carthaginians. They're outnumbered nearly 2 to 1, and the cost as well, they're nearly outnumbered by double the amount of cost. 10,000 to nearly 20,000 cost for the Romans. The Romans generally have the better units. They've got more elite units in terms of Praetorians and the legate, and they are attacking from all sides. And the Carthaginians, their actual melee troops, taking away these ranged units that they have, the actual melee troops, they've got like 65 melee units for the Romans, who have got probably about 135 melee units going up against them. Obviously not all of them are legionaries, but legionaries versus mercenaries, the legionaries generally win. So yeah, let's get into this and see how they perform. So here we go. Obviously all 4 sides are going to come together, and you'll see what I mean. The Carthaginians here are leaving their defensive formation, even though they have got the standard bearer. These guys are just hoplite standard bearers. They fit mostly the Carthaginians, so I mean they kind of work, but they're the closest I have without making a brand new one. As we can see, some of the mercenaries over here as well are starting to leave their defensive formation, going for the Romans. The auxiliary archers have already fired there. The spear throwers have not yet. Oh, the elephant man is shooting, but yeah, easily blocked by the Praetorian. And the first of the Carthaginian spears are going in as well on all sides. Yep, we'll have to see how well they do. They're striking down a couple of the gladiators there. Yep. taking down some of the gladiators as I expected. That's why I put the gladiators on front there. This man, very lucky that spear hit his shield instead. The Triarii, yep, they're doing alright. So far, none of the Romans have actually fallen off the edge, which is good. They've actually lost a couple of Cretan archers here. They haven't lost any of... No, they have not lost any of the mercenaries here in the initial push up from the spearmen, which is good. Looks like, yep, the mercenaries are also now getting involved as the Romans have charged. Yeah, that's all of the Carthaginian units are actually in play here. The spearband have started killing off some of the units, as we saw. We've got a dead mercenary there. No one's fallen off yet, except for one of the spear throwers there. Looks like, yeah, the gladiators and everyone are now in play, going up against these mercenaries. The Illyrian pikemen obviously staying back, which is good. Oh, down goes one of the mercenaries there for the Carthaginians. And again over here, looks like no one's fallen off. The Triarii, yep, easily pushing against the Numidians, as we can see. Lots of dead Numidian spearmen here on the ground, easily pushing away. On this side, looks like the mercenaries are putting up a bit of a decent fight. Some of the Roman mercenaries have actually fallen off the edge there. We've also got a legionary shield flying off there, and we've also got a dead legionary? Yeah, dead legionary there. So they are starting to lose a couple of legionaries here, but for the most part, yep, they've started pushing through. There's only a spearman, well, a spear thrower who's managed to get himself fallen down there. It looks like, oh, yep, the fight is definitely spilled over. The fight has definitely spilled over to the edge, and we are starting to lose Praetorians, including the Centurion, which is a big blow for the Romans. They're losing a Praetorian Centurion like that. As for the remaining Carthaginians, it's just, you know, like one or two spearband, and yeah, there they go. Most of the Romans have fallen off the edge there, which is not good at all. Actually, on this flank, the Romans have lost. The Romans have lost on this flank due to a combination of falling off the edge and probably also those Illyrian pikemen. But on this side, though, the Triarii, yep, they're starting to fall off the edge as well. But they have mostly cleaned up this flank, and for God's sakes, Triarii, stop falling off the edge. This flank has probably actually fared the best as they start going up here against the War Elephant. Charging in, hopefully the spears of the Triarii and the mercenaries will stand them good here. It looks like of the remaining Roman force up here, we've got like 2 Praetorians, 1 Praetorian who's stuck, and a mercenary. But the mercenary died actually to the spear thrower, which is brilliant. Good job, mercenary. Absolutely useless. But the spear thrower is going to fall off the edge, which is good. And then it'll be down to the Velites. As for the remaining Roman forces here, yeah, they're starting to get up here, trying to take down the War Elephant. War Elephant obviously is going to be the end goal of the Romans here. That shows, by killing the War Elephant, they've won. I mean, there's basically no one left here to oppose them. We've obviously got a mercenary Illyrian pikeman still left over here, who's just been struck by a Velite, actually, I think, and we've also still got 1 gladiator. Amazing. Oh, War Elephant's dead. Yep, the spears managed to take him down, and yeah, now it's just a case of swarming up the remaining, swarming and killing the remaining my god, standard bearers. This man is so lucky that his hitbox saved him from that arrow. By rights, that arrow should have gone right into this guy and killed him. But, yeah, they're going to do their best. But, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion at this point. The Romans are going to take him out. It's, yeah, not a contest. These guys can't really defend themselves. And all of these ranged units and melee units are just going to take them down. There they go. So, yeah, that was obviously bound to be a success for the Romans, but as to how much of a success depended on how many units they lost. And as I expected, the Romans suffered massive losses due to the fact that the forces all fell off the edge, which is not a surprise. That's the thing with these simulation maps. Again, this is why I don't really like using the simulation maps. But some of the ideas that I have for videos like necessitate the usage of these maps, because if I want to do a fort defense or a castle attack or a siege, I have to use these maps, and they tend to have big drops either side, which, as you saw from the Praetorians, the Praetorians lost all of their number just from attacking the Sacred Band and them all falling off the edge. That has one. That's how it went. We have still got one Praetorian here who is very lucky to be alive due to the fact that his legs are caught off the edge. There's no way of him getting up, but at the same time there's no way of him falling over either. But if we completely ignore all of the units that fell off and we look at the actual bodies here, we have lost some Praetorians due to the Sacred Band, as I expected, but there's about even number of Praetorian bodies and Sacred Band bodies actually on the floor. Over here, a lot of the gladiators are dead, as I expected. Gladiators versus mercenaries. Mercenaries probably have the edge due to their weapons and armour being slightly better than the gladiators, especially their shields. On this flank, the Triarii completely wiped out the mercenaries. The mercenaries were far fewer in number and far worse trained. The Triarii completely breezed through, and on this side as well, I mean, they put up a good fight, but there is a lot of dead mercenaries here for not a lot of dead legionaries. We obviously lost these two Cretan archers very early on, and then we do have a dead legionary here. We've got a couple more dead legionaries here as well, but for the most part, everyone else is alive here. We do not have any Roman mercenaries still alive. All of them are dead. We have still got this one brave gladiator though. He's still alive. And actually, no, that's just a shield. I thought perhaps one of the mercenary hoplites for the Romans had been alive, but no, that's just a shield which has been brought up by the attacking Romans here. All of the ranged Roman units have still lived. So even if the Romans did lose all of their melee infantry here, the ranged units would easily just kill both the elephant and also the remaining standard bearers. So there you go. That was the last stand of the Carthaginians. Again, like I said, this was going to be a foregone conclusion, both in the fact that the Romans would win, but also that the Romans would lose most of their number, not to the Carthaginians, but to the map. But again, that's just the hazard of using these simulation maps, unfortunately. If they had, just a general plain, if they just had slopes leading up to the fortress walls here, so these things were actually joined up with more land, that would be fine. But as it is, units can quite easily fall off, which is just a shame. But even so, successful battle for the Romans. The Carthaginians are no more, and I'll thank you all for watching, and goodbye.